Minecraft has a lot of structures that spawn throughout the worlds, and a lot of them look like shit. Like seriously, you can't look me dead in the eyes and tell me this looks good. So today I'm going to take it upon myself to improve some of the worst structures and bring them up to a higher standard. Okay, the first structure we'll be upgrading is the Witch's Hut. Straight up, it's bland and boring. Now, I know these can be used to make witch farms, but other than that, they're pretty much useless. So we'll be enhancing the visuals and adding another interesting use to it as well. Alright, so the first thing I did was delete the whole thing because it sucks. Then I moved a little bit further down so that the platform we'll be adding on is half over the land and half over the water. Then it was on to actually adding in all of the pillars for this new house. I wanted to add a little bit more verticality to it as well, so I made it like, you know, a bit higher. And then we started adding the roofs on, having them facing different directions to look extra nice. Then it was onto the walls. I decided to keep these pretty simple. And then I tried adding in this little like crane hanging thing here, but it just didn't really work out because it's too small of an area. So yeah, I ended up just moving down to below here and added in the crane actually hanging over the water this time instead. Then I started adding in some more details around the place, like a nice staircase, this little boat that's like kind of hanging out under here, and also a dock as well. And then I just sprinkled in a whole bunch more little details around the place, like a hanging sign, some lanterns, some buttons, and other stuff like that. Okay, now onto the interior real quick. I want to quickly add a nice little function and use to this base. And that use I want is to, you know, make it a place to easily craft potions and stuff in your world. You know, instead of having to go to the nether and stuff, you can just easily, well, maybe not easily, but, you know, find one of these areas and then, you know, come into it and make some potions. And so, yeah, if you're coming along in your survival world and you find one of these nice witches' huts, you know, you can actually go inside of it and explore and find some, you know, potions ready to be made. You can find some ingredients in here. I'm not going to put any in there because, you know, I don't know what I'd put. And it would just be a really cool place that you could come and easily make some potions starting off. Now, I know I'm kind of over detailing these, like, you know, not in a way that Minecraft would probably add, but yeah, I don't care. I'm just making these look as nice as I can. And now I want to add a ladder right beside the door here that goes all the way up to the top floor. And up here, I maybe want to add in something with like some bookshelves. Yeah, so there we go. There's my, you know, theoretical upgrade to the existing Witch's Hut structure and how cool it could look if they, you know, spent some time and actually upgraded it in the vanilla game. Just before we continue on, I just wanted to quickly mention that all of these structure upgrades and all of my builds that I've ever created are all available to download over on my Patreon. Link is in the description. All right, on to the next structure. Okay, next up, the end portal. It's a very important room. You spend a lot of your time trying to locate it, and when you finally get there, it looks like this. So yeah, I kind of went crazy with this one and ended up moving up to the surface and taking a giant chunk out of a forest. I also ended up cleaning up the hole a little. That sounds kind of wrong. Then I added this big podium that the end portal will be situated on and added these little bridges too. Next, it was on to adding a big natural kind of staircase that'll flow along the edge of this here and add a nice little easy access point down to it. Then I started adding in some grass and some dirt and some other details around the place as well. I replaced the entire floor with grass here because I want it to look more natural. Then I started adding in this nice little water feature as well. And then it was on to, you know, adding in the actual end portal, the whole main purpose of this structure. And I added a whole bunch of details around that as well. And then it was on to adding in a whole bunch more water, like a kind of moat around the center structure, and a whole bunch of details like grass and leaves and stuff. And then I even added in this nice little raised platform as well, just to add a little bit more verticality because it was kind of flat down there. And then I just added a whole bunch of flowers around the place as well, just to add some vibrance to everything. Okay, now that I'm done with this, yeah, I definitely went pretty overboard with this one. These hallways theoretically would lead to, you know, the rest of the stronghold, and then it would just break out into this big, massive, circular, lush room and just be super nice. And also it'd be pretty cool to, you know, instead of, you know, trying to actually find the stronghold, maybe you just stumble across this massive, gaping freaking thing in the land and find the end portal and you're like, hell yeah, I don't have to go through all of that crap. I don't know if that's a cool idea or if you guys really disagree with that, so I don't know, just let me know in the comments if you want to. Dungeons are pretty boring. Literally just a cube of cobblestone, 2 chests, and a spawner. There's nothing you could do to make it worse. Well, I guess there might be a few things. Alright, so yeah, here's the first dungeon upgrade, you know, just the standard dungeon. Probably took me like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to make. Like, come on, Minecraft. If it takes me that long, surely it couldn't take you that long. Okay, it probably does take longer to update a whole structure. But yeah, the whole idea behind this is that it's, you know, a bit more of a cooler room to find. Instead of literally just a cube, we've added in these nice like pillars that kind of separate the sides. And I decided to add the chests in here as if like, you know, they'd randomly spawn in here. It takes a little bit more effort to find them, I guess. I don't know, I just thought that was a cool idea. And then we have the spawner at the back of the room, and it's like hanging up by these chains, and we've got this little pedestal thing as well. I originally had it down there. I don't know which one would look better. Yeah. So yeah, that's the first basic dungeon variant. Let's get on to the next one. Well, I accidentally forgot to record the time lapse for this one, but I mean, it's not the most craziest one anyway. I pretty much just placed freaking crap everywhere. But yeah, this one would be the lush dungeon, you know? One that would spawn within a lush biome and could take on this variant, where it is pretty similar to the original, you know, bog standard dungeon that we have right now, except we've introduced a whole bunch of moss blocks and, you know, leaves and glowberries and grass everywhere. We've also added in a hanging spawner once again, but this time it's right in the center of the dungeon. And then we have the chests in the corners on these like moss blocks. And yeah, you know, just a little bit of variance into some dungeons would definitely be cool, something like this. On to the next one. Alright, and there we go. There's the completed dripstone dungeon variant. This one, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's literally a bunch of dripstones everywhere. I also added in this nice water channel that runs through, and we got the chests in some like holes in the walls, and then the spawner here. And yeah, as you can see, I started this one in a mineshaft, thinking I'd make a mineshaft variant of a spawner, but yeah, that already exists. Yeah, I'm a little bit stupid. Now for a structure that serves no function and is in dire need of revamping, the desert well. Now, I'm all for these kinds of little structures, just tiny builds scattered throughout the world. Personally, I'd love to see little ruins added to forests and stuff like that. And on that note, also, if you'd like to see a video where instead of upgrading existing structures, I add in completely new structures, be sure to let me know in the comments. But this one could definitely be improved, so let's get started. So for this one, I once again removed the entire thing. I then played around with some pillar designs until I settled on this one and added in a unique little roof design. For the inside, just a pretty standard well design with a cauldron hanging on some chains. And finally, for the finishing touches, I added in some regular sandstone to add some texture and added in some little details like fences and lanterns. And so here's the completed well design. Definitely a bit of an upgrade. I might have gone maybe too far with this one, but an extra little detail as well is down here we have a little chest, and theoretically it would spawn with like a little bit of loot, you know, nothing too crazy, and it would just make it a little bit more fun to, you know, come to one of these and explore it. And just as an extra little bonus, how cool would it be if fossils also spawned in the ocean? It would insinuate that some giant creatures used to roam the oceans, and I don't know about you guys, but it'd definitely make the ocean feel a lot more creepy. Let me know if you like this idea. Alright, and so that just about does it for this video. Once again, every single build created in this video is available to download over on my Patreon, along with every build I've ever created in my life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.